What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Today we've got our Week 14 NFL game picks outright versus the spread, along with our locks of the week. So make sure to tune in. If you enjoy, hit that like button, subscribe, give us a follow on Twitter at AllDayPigskin to continue interacting with us there. Let us hear in the comment section you agree, disagree, along with any other questions you guys might have. We will do our best to answer them all. But with that being said, let's get right into it. And before looking at our games, I do want to highlight OddsJam once again because it continues to be the place that I use for all of my NFL betting research. And honestly, whether it's the NFL or really any other sport out there as well, OddsJam is your one-stop shop for it all, from live line shopping to knowing you are getting the best odds available to maximize your profits. Make sure you're using OddsJam. Not only that, take advantage of OddsJam's tools like their positive EV tool, which shows you line discrepancy so you know you're getting the best odds, essentially a mathematical edge and guaranteed money in the long run. Or their arbitrage tool, which gives you equal and opposite bets for a risk-free return. Link in the description, so make sure to check them out. But now looking at our games, let's begin with the New York Jets at the Buffalo Bills, a divisional clash here. And look, this is a game right now where the Buffalo Bills have kind of been struggling a little bit as of late. You know, Josh Allen not quite as dominant as he was to kick off the season. The New York Jets with Mike White under center have been more competitive. But we saw it last week versus the Minnesota Vikings. He got exposed. He didn't play as well as he did in his debut versus the Bears. And I think the quality of opponent has ramped up yet again here in Buffalo. I think that this is going to be a long day for the New York Jets, for Mike White. Sure, they will be better here than if they had Zach Wilson under center, but I don't think it's going to be enough to win the game. And for that reason, I tend to agree with the betting spreads here. The Buffalo Bills at home, favored by -9.5. I'm going to take the Bills there. I think they have obviously the better quarterback. They've got the better wide receivers. They've got the better defense. And with all those things in mind, I think the Bills win this game outright for sure. And then on the spread is really where it kind of gets interesting. You do have the divisional clash. You do have the slightly improved Jets offense. But I think the Bills come out here, they make a statement, and they can cover that 9.5 number. So give me the Bills outright and on the spread. Then we go to the Cleveland Browns at the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, the Browns last week, even with the return of Deshaun Watson, did not play well offensively. Thank God they played the Houston Texans, and the defense was able to carry them. Now, I don't think that's going to be the case here versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Sure, it's a divisional clash, but doesn't mean much, again, when your quarterback has basically not played in 2 years. And the Cincinnati Bengals, they have all their litany of weapons. I mean, they're just coming off a win versus the Chiefs. You know that they can hang in there with anyone. They've got Jamar Chase, Higgins, Boyd, Joe Mixon is returning. I just don't see how, the Cleveland Browns are going to be able to keep pace with the Bengals here. Not because that they don't have the talent, they do, but I just don't see how Deshaun Watson is going to make, in the span of 1 week, such a monumental kind of switch from a guy that, again, hasn't seen the field in 2 years to somebody that can go toe-to-toe with Joe Burrow. So for that reason, I'm going to go with the Cincinnati Bengals. I think that the Cleveland Browns rushing attack can only get them so far here, and I think the defense is going to be much more challenged versus this Bengals offense than they were last week. Give me the Bengals to win this game. -5.5. If Watson had more reps under his belt, it'd be a different conversation, but it's only his second game back this season. For that reason, give me the Bengals on the spread. Then we go to the Houston Texans at the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, look, we're going to just cut this one short. I feel like this is one of our biggest locks of the week. It has a spread of -17 in terms of the Cowboys being favored at home. What else do you need to say in order for you to realize the Dallas Cowboys are winning this game every which way? Like, the only thing really of importance here is the Houston Texans. They're going back to Davis Mills, but does that really matter? They're going to be without Nico Collins and Brendan Cooks. Like, this offense was already bad enough. Give me the Dallas Cowboys every which way. I think this is going to be a blowout. I think that, they could be resting their starters come the third quarter. I love the Dallas Cowboys. I'm taking them outright. The spread is where really I'm nervous because it's almost minus 20. It's a huge number. But the Houston Texans are so bad right now. Ideally, what I would try and do is I try to get that number to like minus 15 or plus 20 for the Houston Texans. If it's plus 20 for the Texans, it's a huge number. Then I'd probably sprinkle some cash on them. And then for the Cowboys, if you get it to minus 15, throw a couple bucks there. But, otherwise, I'd probably stay away from the spread just because of how big of a number it is. Then we go to the Minnesota Vikings at the Detroit Lions. This spread has been all over the place. You look at the Minnesota Vikings record, one of the best in the NFL, yet some sportsbooks have them as underdogs here versus the Detroit Lions. So in those scenarios, this is where OddsJam is so great. Take advantage of that. I don't think that should be the case here. I realize that the Detroit Lions have been playing very good as of late, but I don't think that they should be favored here versus the Minnesota Vikings. I realize it's a home game, but, Kirk Cousins versus Jared Goff, let's call that a wash. You've got Justin Jefferson, you've got Adam Thielen, you've got TJ Hawkinson, you've got Dalvin Cook. I think you give the advantage there slightly to the Minnesota Vikings. And then defensively, I do think the Minnesota Vikings are a little bit better. Give me the Minnesota Vikings here to win this game outright. If you can get them at plus 2.5, plus 3, like even if the Detroit Lions win here, I don't think it's going to be by more than 3 points. So with that being said, if there's a line where you can get Minnesota at plus 3.5 or tease that number to that, I would be smashing Minnesota that way on the spread. Afterwards, we go to the Philadelphia Eagles at the New York Giants. I'm going to be taking the Philadelphia Eagles here. Yes, I know the Eagles' sole loss this year is in a divisional clash. It was versus Washington, so obviously not apples to apples here. But still, I think the New York Giants are a bit challenged offensively. Saquon Barkley is going to be a 50-50 call in this game. That could be a huge, huge loss for New York. I mean, he is the heart of that offense. And without him, it's going to be really on the shoulders of Daniel Jones to get that rushing attack going and then for him to get the passing attack going as well. I don't think they have the passing weapons needed to get, the number of points offensively to challenge the Eagles here. The defense, I mean, if the defense plays the game of their lives, then there's a chance, but I really have to lean towards the Eagles here. Give me Philly, even if Saquon Barkley plays to win this game. I think offensively they're just so much better. Defensively, they're also very good. I think they're going to take advantage of a less than 100% Barkley and take advantage of a subpar Daniel Jones. Eagles win this game on the road. I will go with it this way on the spread. It's -7 in favor of the Philadelphia Eagles. If Saquon Barkley doesn't play, I'm taking that number for Philadelphia. Then we've got the Baltimore Ravens at the Pittsburgh Steelers, another divisional clash here. And obviously the big news is that Lamar Jackson isn't going to play. So that means we have got backup quarterback alert for Baltimore. And, Huntley is a guy that does have some experience. He did get the Baltimore Ravens to some wins last year. And to be fair, he is going up against Kenny Pickett. Now, this game is in Pittsburgh for what it's worth. The Pittsburgh Steelers have been getting a couple wins here and there these last couple of weeks, but I think that probably ends here. Now, I feel a lot better about the Baltimore Ravens' chances if Lamar Jackson was playing. But even with that being said, I still give them the slight advantage here. I think they're just a better coach team offensively, and I think they are a little bit more capable offensively. And I think that ultimately, even with a backup quarterback, they have the advantage at that most important position. It's a position that it will come down to. So I think the Baltimore Ravens can sneak out a win here. I think it's going to be a very, very low scoring game. That's probably going to be the main thing. Both teams are going to have a chance to win it. It's going to be a coin flip. But with the Ravens, if you're giving me them plus 2.5, you've given almost 3 points to Baltimore. I'm going to take that number. I like them outright. So the Ravens outright and in the spread. Moving on, we've got the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Tennessee Titans. This is a game where Tennessee got absolutely walloped by the Philadelphia Eagles last week. The Jaguars, same deal versus the Detroit Lions. I do think that the Tennessee Titans at home, give them the slight advantage. But, to me, this is a classic game. I've been saying it all season long, where the Titans aren't as good as their record suggests. The Jacksonville Jaguars, they're just a very up and down team. Sometimes they show up, sometimes they don't. Trevor Lawrence has kind of been all over the place. He did get banged up last week, but he is expected to play. So with that being said, I'm going to go with the team that I think right now is a little bit better coached, that is, has been a little bit better overall, a little bit more consistent, especially versus like this middle of the pack type of opponent that I think the Jaguars are. So I'm going to go with the Tennessee Titans here to win a close game. The spread -3. It is a divisional clash, so I think these teams are probably closer on levels than some people might suggest. Sure, the Titans have the much better record, but when it all comes down to it, sure, the Titans make the playoffs. I don't think they'll get that far. Give me the Jacksonville Jaguars on the spread at +3.5. I think they can make it interesting. I think they can hang in there, but ultimately the Titans, the better team, do win it. Then looking at the Kansas City Chiefs at the Denver Broncos, another game where I think it's a situation that it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. The Chiefs, one of the larger spreads of the week at -8.5, being favored by on the road. The Denver Broncos right now, even though they, kind of hang in there in some games, make some games lower scoring, that's not going to be possible here versus the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that the Chiefs defense is going to have success. I think that offensively, Kansas City is going to put up, if they can put up 20 points, the Denver Broncos won't be able to contend with that. Courtland Sutton not expected to play, so Russell Wilson is really going to be limited. I don't trust Latavius Murray offensively to really do all of much. So it's going to be Russell Wilson to just pretty much Jerry Jeudy, Greg Dulcich. That's not going to be enough to contend with Patrick Mahomes, with Kelsey, with the emerging rushing attack that they have, and with that defense. So give me the Kansas City Chiefs to win this game here. And yes, I will be taking them on the spread. I don't know how you can't, considering how bad the Broncos have looked all season long. Afterwards, we go to the Tampa Bay Bucks versus the San Francisco 49ers. This is a game here where it's tough. If Jimmy Garoppolo was playing, I would probably lean the 49ers, but obviously we're down to Purdy, third-string quarterback. The 49ers do have the better defense. The Buccaneers coming off a great comeback win, but, it was versus the New Orleans Saints. The 49ers in San Francisco, they do have a very good offense, but it's going to come down to the quarterback. So I think that Purdy is going to be in a position where all he has to do is be a game manager. I think this is going to be a lower scoring game than some people might expect. And, the over-under would aim to agree with that at right around 37 points. I'm going to take the 49ers outright, but I do like the Tampa Bay Bucks here getting 3.5 on the spread. Wouldn't be shocked if they win this game outright completely. I think the 49ers are going to be in a lot more closer games to wrap up the season because of the quarterback situation. So for that reason, give me the 49ers outright, but the Tampa Bay Bucks on the spread. Then we go to the Carolina Panthers at the Seattle Seahawks. So with the Panthers, you have got Sam Darnold, probably the quarterback for the rest of the season. For Seattle, they're going to probably be without Kenneth Walker at running back. So it's going to be backup running backs there handling the load. And, that is a bit of a loss for the Seattle Seahawks offense. But I still think this game being in Seattle, Geno Smith having been a very good game manager, having Lockett and DK Metcalf available, and then ultimately facing a turnover-prone Sam Darnold, that the Seattle Seahawks will pull away in this game. I think the spread should be a little bit larger. It's only -3.5 in favor of Seattle. Give me the Seattle Seahawks to win this game and ultimately for them to pull away as it progresses, courtesy probably of a Sam Darnold turnover. So Seattle Seahawks outright and on the spread. Then the Miami Dolphins at the LA Chargers Sunday night game. So this is a game where the Miami Dolphins are favored by -3 after getting completely rocked by the 49ers last week. I think it will be a close game. The game is in Los Angeles. Justin Herbert, he is expected to have Mike Williams back at wide receiver. So you've got Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Austin Eckler, Josh Palmer, who's done great this season. But it's a situation where, the Chargers really do play to the level of their competition. They're very good at blowing leads. I do think the Miami Dolphins will bounce back here. And, I'm going to say that Tua ends up getting the slight advantage here and getting the win at the end of the day. But I really do think it'll be a coin flip game. I think it's going to be very high scoring, very back and forth. But give me the advantage to the Miami Dolphins. I think they've just been the more consistent side all season long, excluding last week. But I do like the LA Chargers on the spread, getting +3.5. I think it'll be a 2-3 point type of difference here. So the Chargers getting +3.5 seems like a very good bet here on the spread. I will roll with them there. And then finally, the New England Patriots at the Arizona Cardinals Monday night here. I'm going to probably go with the Arizona Cardinals at home. Kyler Murray, you've got him. You've got DeAndre Hopkins. You have got Marquise Brown, James Conner. So as bad as the Cardinals have been offensively and as many issues as they might have, maybe, looking for a new head coach, things like that, I do think they are the much better team, especially offensively. Defensively, they do have issues. But the New England Patriots, look, I can tell you what the game plan is going to be. It's going to be Mac Jones to be a game manager and them to feed Ramondre Stevenson and then kind of rely on the defense to cause issues for Kyler Murray, keep it close, and then just chip away. But I think Kyler Murray is enough of an X factor on the ground where it's going to cause some issues. I'm going to go with the Arizona Cardinals to barely win this game. I do think it's a coin flip. But since I do like the Arizona Cardinals outright, it's pretty much a pick 'em on the spread. I'm going to go with the Cardinals getting +1.5 on the spread there. But with that, we wrap up our pick'ems. Now looking at our locks of the week, let's start with the New York Jets versus the Buffalo Bills. Yes, I do think the Jets offensively are improved with Mike White, but just not enough here versus the Buffalo Bills. Give me Bills in this game. Then we go to the Cleveland Browns versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Again, if this was Deshaun Watson having played 10 games this season, it would be a different story, but it's not. It's his second game back. I don't see him doing a complete 180 from last week offensively. Give me Cincinnati to win this game. Then Houston Texans at the Dallas Cowboys. There's a reason why this is an 18-point spread. I don't have to say anything else here. Dallas Cowboys to win this game. And then finally, Kansas City Chiefs versus the Denver Broncos. The Broncos, one of the worst teams this season, one of the most disappointing teams. Offensively, I don't know how they hang with the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. Give me Kansas City Chiefs as our final lock of the week. But with that, we wrap up our Week 14 NFL game breakdown. If you guys enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe, give us a follow on Twitter at AllDayPigskin to continue interacting with us there. Let us hear in the comment section, did you agree, disagree, along with any other questions you guys might have? We will do our best to answer them all. But in the meantime, we'll see you guys in future videos.